I've seen you talk in posts a number of times about kind of connecting the philosophy to this unhinged psychology. Can you connect Foucault or R.D. Laing or these type of theorists, I guess, postmodern anti-psychiatry? Is there a link there that you can explain?
Well, with the anti-psychiatry, it's really the French radical left who deranged Freud's original psychoanalysis. Really, what they did is they just normalized mental illness. They basically wrote off the idea that, for example, let's just take schizophrenia. They would basically say that the schizophrenic person is the normal state of the world, and the schizophrenic person is making sense of the environment that's been put upon them by capitalism and unfair societies that treat them poorly. And that's sort of a very generalized way of looking at it, but it is Marcuse and some of these left-wing thinkers that derange the original biological grounding of psychoanalysis. Even though psychoanalysis was thought to be, this big environmental, how your mother treats you is going to influence how you end up. It was a biologically grounded theory of instinctual drives and impulses that went through a series of phases. And once you had the Marxists come in and dismantle any sense of biological orientation to that, that's when you ended up with just pure insanity. And the idea that, mental illness is just sort of this pseudo-construct that's imposed by society to control everyone. And so, I have a pinned tweet on my Twitter feed right now where I unpack that a little bit. So it gets into a lot of the theoretical background of how left-wing Marxism deranged psychiatry, but that's a key feature of what we're seeing now, some of the gender insanity. The idea that the abnormal are the normal.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Deleuze and Guattari.
Yeah, that's referenced in the book that I have pinned in my tweet.
Yeah, I mean, they came up with this idea called schizoanalysis, which is kind of the opposite of psychoanalysis. They're trying to drive people towards psychosis because that's, supposedly the natural reaction to capitalism, and that's going to, more quickly push us to overthrow the system and everything. So they're trying to, rather than, normal counseling, psychology, or therapy, trying to heal people and reduce distress, they're actually trying to increase it because that's in line with their political project. That's just sick.
That schizoanalysis is referenced in the pinned tweet. You'll see that. So yeah, exactly. They see that as sort of the natural way to be, to understand the society that they've been put upon.
Yeah. I know Herbert Marcuse had this thing, he called it the power of negative thinking. Being grateful for, how far our society's come, that's not going to lead to a revolution. But if you're constantly looking for things that are problematic, those can build up and you can breed discontent, and that can further the political project.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, a political project. And that's the ethos of the left-wing radical progressive, is that you need a cultural revolution to undo all the harm and all the problems that capitalism has created and so forth and so on. And that's essentially what it is. It's a political project to deconstruct anything in mental health that would contain or constrain impulse or, categorize mental illness to be treated rather than to be just normalized.